8 and live from the Kenyatta University Communication Center. You are just in time for the final of the edition of the Weekend Live for the month of January 2026. How are you wherever you've been? I do hope you have had a proper day and a day that is worth its rising in cases. And also, right here within the KUTV, we've been up and about compiling for you reports on matters happening in the country and also beyond our borders, matters that are pertinent to you, to inform you and keep you updated. But first, how about we begin it officially? Welcome, my name is Emal Kutosi and with me in the sign language interpretation is Naomi Ombui. Now, rising cases of gender-related killings in the country have been linked to the consumption of illicit alcohol. Gender, Culture and Children's Services Cabinet Secretary Hannah Cheptumo is now warning that gender-based violence is escalating at an alarming rate, particularly in Murang'a County. Cheptumo also urged women to walk away from toxic relationships before it is too late.
Gender, Culture and Children's Services Cabinet Secretary Hannah Cheptumo has raised concerns over the increasing number of gender-related killings, attributing the trend to widespread consumption of illicit brews. Speaking during the Maendeleo ya Wanawake Organization's 74th Annual General Meeting held in Murang'a County, the CS described recently released gender-based violence statistics as alarming.
Yani, hii shida haifanyiki kwa ule mtu mjui. Wenye wanaodhulumu, wenye wanaua ni wale watu wa familia. Homes and families should be spaces of safety and care. They are now increasingly becoming places of fear and violence.
Cheptumo revealed that Murang'a County is among the leading regions reporting cases of gender-based violence, accounting for 53.7% of reported incidences.
Ile vitu yenye inaleta hiyo kudhulumiana ama hii fujo ambayo tunaona katika familia ni mambo ya pombe na miadarati. Yani pombe kali, pombe ambayo inauzwa huku na kwa pombe mbaya ndio inaleta sasa hii shida ambayo tunaona katika hii familia, kama familia. Sasa president akasema mambo ya pombe ikome kabisa.
Beyond alcohol abuse, the cabinet secretary cautioned women against remaining in toxic relationships.
Saa zingine unaanza kuona mtu anaenda kuwa mnyama na unavumilia. Unaona mtu ameanza kukunywa pombe, macho imechange, ilikuwa white imeanza kuwa red na anashinda akikwambia nitakuua. Na wewe unasema sitaenda kwa sababu nimeolewa, nikienda watu wataona nini, watu wa kanisa watanichekelea. Unangoja kifo. Enda ureport. Mama akikufa, familia imekufa.
Meanwhile, Maendeleo ya Wanawake National Chairperson Rahab Muyo condemned the rising cases of teenage marriages and pregnancies, saying this denies girls the opportunity to pursue education.
Watoto saa ingine wanajipeleka hali mbaya, lakini mtoto wa 13 years anjui hali mbaya CS. She is too young to know. Her body has not even formed. This is the GBV we are talking about. How do we start getting children giving birth at 13 years in the 21st century? It is not acceptable.
State Department of Gender and Affirmative Action Cabinet Secretary Anne Wangombe said the government is rolling out programs to support women in establishing businesses and achieving economic empowerment.
The government is ready and willing to support women because first and foremost, His Excellency, the President is our number champion.
Yvonne Kimuma, KUTV.
Thank you, Yvonne Kimuma, for that report. And moving on to other matters, the government is shifting focus to early detection as cervical cancer continues to claim lives due to late diagnosis. Health Principal Secretary Mary Muthoni says more than 2/3 of cases are discovered at advanced stages, stressing the need for regular screening among adult women. The Ministry of Health now targets screening at least 75% of women nationwide. Speaking in Ruiru, Kiambu County, Muthoni said prevention through vaccination and timely screening remains the most cost-effective solution, noting that increased community awareness and stronger primary healthcare systems are critical in reversing current trends.
It is our wish and our will that every woman lives to see their next birthday without sickness, without ailments, and we stop losing them, because we are losing half of the women, or even more than half of the women that are detected with cervical cancer. We lose them yearly. More than 3,500 women die every year out of cervical cancer, and the ones that are noted could be about 6,000. Every year, 6,000 women are detected to have cervical cancer. So half of them die, and the other half maybe wanaponea, ama they are still struggling to live with the same. So we want to have 90% HPV vaccination for our girls.
And in an effort to curb the rising number of road accidents, drivers attached to the Nanyuki Express Cab Services Limited have undergone a road safety sensitization exercise. The SACCO was among public service vehicles involved in a fatal crash in January 4th this year along the Nakuru-Nairobi Highway at Karai. According to the National Transport and Safety Authority, at least 398 people lost their lives in road crashes in January alone, marking an 11% increase compared to the same period last year. NTSA data shows that 95% of road fatalities are linked to human error, including speeding and driving under the influence. Stakeholders are now calling for mandatory refresher courses for public service vehicle drivers to improve compliance with road safety regulations. A total of 250 drivers took part in the two-day training.
Langu tu ni kutoa wito kwa SACCOs wote zote mali ziko zote siwe sinapokea mafunzo kama haya, na ningesema kwa NTSA waiweke kama ni lazima every year wa train all the drivers wakumbushe tu, ni mambo ya kukumbushana.
In that data, that's 2009, we had 27% we have 27% in terms of drivers and passengers, and that's why we are focusing on these drivers now, so that we'll be able to reduce. So we'll be doing much of this training so that we'll be able to reduce our fatalities on our.
Now, Molo Member of Parliament Kuria Kimani has put school heads on notice of illegal levels allegedly being charged to admit grade 10 learners. The legislator warned that principals found imposing such charges will be treated as criminals, saying the practice undermines the Ministry of Education's goal of achieving 100% transition. Speaking in Sachangwan village, Kimani urged parents whose children are yet to report to ensure immediate admission, noting that the NGCDF has invested in adequate infrastructure and will soon release bursaries for needy students. The call was echoed by Molo DCC Jackson Olechuta, who said multi-agency teams are tracing learners yet to report to school.
Nataka kupatia onyo walimu wa grade 10 and especially head teachers wa JSS in grade 10. Wanafunzi wakienda grade 10 mnaitisha locus. Mnaambiwa watoe shilingi 4,500 ama watoe shilingi 5,000 ili wakuwe na waende na locus. Hiyo ni kweli hapa ni uongo? Hiyo ni kweli hapa ni uongo? Tafadhali walimu, kama shule yako ya JSS haina locus za kutosha, upige ripoti kwa ofisi yangu pale CDF. We will provide for those desks for all those students. There should not be any parent in Molo constituency asking for a parent kuchukua loka kupeleka shule ili mwanafunzi asome. We are going to provide for all those lockers in all our schools. So tafadhali, wanadisi si kusikia mwalimu ameitisha loka, chukua yeye weka ndani, kwa sababu hiyo ni ukora. Because we are going to make sure all the desks that are required for the 100% transition from grade 9 to grade 10 will be provided through NGCDF. Enrollment ni 84%. Inamaanisha ya kwamba 16% ya watoto wametoka kwa shule. Grade 7, grade 6, grade 5.
All right, we now switch gears to matters politics, where government-allied political leaders lobbed a political assault on the united opposition across various fronts, noting a collection of unready to address national concerns. From the President's aide Farouk Kibet to Cabinet Secretaries and National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula, the call was made for Kenyans to shun the outfit and give the broad-based government room to perform and possibly deliver.
Several politicians toured key counties today, criticizing opposition policies while highlighting government achievements. The visits aim to consolidate support, strengthen party unity, and mobilize voters ahead of looming electoral contests. Speaking in Moeben, Uasin Gishu County, the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula highlighted resumed roadworks, new hospitals, and planned airstrips as evidence of President Ruto's government delivering tangible development. He urged residents to support the president ahead of the 2027 elections.
Kama jamii ya Wakalenjin, nyinyi ndio foundation ya serikali yetu. Rais amezalia hii county, anaishi hii county. Muwe kielelezo kwa kila watu wengine. Hapa rais hastahili kuja kupiga magoti kuomba kura. Atembee kule kwingine kote, atamalizia tu hapa kuwakumbusha mimi bado niko ni mtoto yenu na tufanye vile huwa tunafanya.
Speaking in the Kirinyaga County, Geoffrey Ruko, the Cabinet Secretary for Public Service, Human Capital Development and Special Programs, questioned the opposition readiness to govern, citing internal divisions and lack of a credible presidential candidate. He emphasized that politics should focus on solutions, not publicity stunts or blame shifting.
I want to tell them, hata kama wewe Rigathi Gachagua ama ni nani utakuwa Inspector General of Police ama ukue Chairman of IMBC, Rais William Ruto na serikali yake tuko ngangari kuhakikisha kwamba ikifika 2027 tutauza sera na yale ambao serikali ya Mheshimiwa William Ruto imefanyia watu ya Kenya, ili hawa watu hawa Mlima Kenya watapiga kura mapema, wahakikisha kwamba William Ruto amerudi kama rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya.
Speaking in Kibwezi West, Makueni County, Farouk Kibet, a close aide to President William Ruto, accused the united opposition of attempting to interfere with the IEBC and the Inspector General of Police. Farouk urged them to respect independent institutions ahead of the 2027 elections.
Acha huyu mtu apply IPC, apatiwe awe chairman. Sisi tumshinde tu hapo akiwa chairman. Yeye ndiye atatangaza William Ruto ndiye ameshinda uchaguzi. Ni kweli si kweli? Awache kutangatanga, yani aulize kazi. Kwa sababu wako impeach, hawezi hii ya president na hataki kutangaza mtu. Huyo mtu ashindwe ama asishindwe. Na sisi tunataka awe chairman ndiye atangaze vizuri William Ruto ndiye ameshinda uchaguzi.
Wale wengine hawana agenda vile mlielezwa. Mambo yao ni kutusi William Ruto na serikali ambayo iko hapa sasa hii. Sasa watu ya Kibwezi na wauliza, nyinyi mnataka maendeleo ama matusi tu? Maendeleo ama matusi? Sasa tumepata kiongozi ambaye anaunganisha sisi wote wa Kenya, development ikuje kwa every region of this country.
As political tensions rise across Kenya, the government-allied leaders continue to challenge the opposition, urging respect for institutions and highlighting development achievements, signaling an intensified campaign ahead of the 2027 elections and shaping the national discourse. Edna Nerea, KUTV, Nairobi.
All right, thank you so much, Ed and Nerea, for that report. That brings us to our first break right here on the Weekend Live this Saturday. We'll be back with more in a moment.
is the Law Matters Show. A program that brings you legal sensitization on your television.
My statement is written and just the quote of the prosecution. What policy recommendations were fronted by the candidate?
With diversity, we demystify important legal issues locally, regionally, and internationally.
What Tanzanians.
Join me, Elvin Onsongo, as I bring you more insights on law matters.
We are looking at social issues. What is the problem? Is it the economy? Is it...
Law Matters Show, creating awareness, advocacy, and enhancing lives.
Miti miti, panda panda, miti miti. Our planet's future is in our hands. However, there is a threat to the brightness of this tomorrow. On EarthCheck, we share the challenges, the solutions, and the hope.
I would call this a very momentous day, a very critical day.
Every episode, every story, every step we take creates a ripple. Join me, the environmentalist Emmanuel Kutosi, on KUTV every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and be part of EarthCheck. Welcome. Welcome back to the Weekend Live. It is better to stand for justice and truth than to surrender to hypocrisy that offers only temporary benefit. This is a statement emphasized by the retired Vice Chancellor of the Kenyatta University, Professor Paul K. Wainaina, as he recounted the highs and lows he faced following a clash with the government and various sources of authority. He made this stance clear during the launch of his memoir, Firm and Forthright, which finally concludes his journey at the top of Kenya's premier university. As the proverb goes, he who feels it knows it. For Professor Paul K. Wainaina, the outgoing Vice Chancellor Kenyatta University, the fruits of his steps were ripe for narration.
I want you to learn. I want to see you to see that we still have that problem. And it can only be tackled by people willing at time to sacrifice something.
In his book, launched in Nairobi, Wainaina journeys through his academic career, focused on nurturing tomorrow's generation and ensuring the dissemination of knowledge.
Making sure that you'd rather even destroy that person for the sake of your own individual interest. That can never be what we'd call a good life.
The professor explains the university's relationships refined under his leadership to become the best in the country and the unique pinnacle achieved in the education sector with KU as the premier university.
Something happened, and again, I had to be shown the door, but politely. But I knew I was not needed.
This is precisely why such stories must be told, and at this time. Because they reveal the cost of conviction. They remind us that principled leadership is not comfortable.
Furthermore, he narrates the obstacles he encountered during the clash with government authorities, which tried to subject him to a threat of removal from office twice.
Same things that happened in 2022. The reason why I was to be thrown out in 2024, when you read the book, you find they are the same thing.
I think we were in the trenches with him when we were being hounded out of the council. And one of the things I can say, Prof, you stood firm.
A great man is known by the family he has and the legacy that he leaves behind.
The book, already in the market, has been praised as a narrative that sparks discussion about the challenges facing Africa, especially when authority is confronted with criticism based on truth and fact.
Really, I do not need to be applauded, but if after reading that book, you reflect why I had to go through what I went through. Is that something that we have power to change? Or are you going to chicken out?
Yet this is not only a story of public battles and institutional pressure. One of the most important contributions of this book is that it restores the humanity of leadership.
We've seen that Professor is really forthright. He has fought where he believes there's truth.
Ametufunza mengi kwamba sio kila wakati ambapo wakisema ushikwapo shikamana, sio kila wakati ushikamane. Saa ingine unakataa kushikamana na unakaa ngumu wanavyosema, na usipokaa ngumu dunia itakukalia ngumu pia.
The publisher of the professor's book, who happens to also be an alumnus of the Kenyatta University, thanked him for the rare opportunity to present his story as a testimony for all.
Philosophy at the university, so editing the book for me was very emotional and it reminded me of the days when I was a philosophy student.
Vizuri watu waandike stori zao, wasingoje kuja kuandikiwa, kwa sababu wakati umeondoka. Sisi waandishi wa habari tutatafuta ile information ambayo tunapata kuhusu tuseme huyu jamaa alikuwa hivi na hivi, naweza kuwa sivyo.
Professor Wainaina, who is nearing retirement, has continued to coordinate the competency-based education curriculum under the President's Working Committee, emerging as an expert not only at the peak of performance, but also at the foundational roots of the country's education.
A great admiration to what our dad has done, studying firm, even when it seemed it will not turn out very well.
Professor Paul Kuria Wainaina, as today your autobiography is being launched, we not only celebrate your hard work and resilience, but we celebrate the love you brought to truth and integrity. May we all follow the story, and may we all learn from the story.
All right, good fortunes to you, Professor Paul K. Wainaina, and of course with the launch of that book that is already available in stores, Firm and Forthright, an autobiography by Professor Paul K. Wainaina. Now, moving on, according to the government, more than 300,000 youth have been supported to access digital jobs over the last 3 years through online freelancing and digital skills training. Speaking to the press during the visit to the Jitume Digital Hub at Kisii National Polytechnic, Broadcasting and Telecommunications Principal Secretary Stephen Isaboke said at least 400 youths are currently benefiting from training at the facility, which is equipped with 100 computers. He noted that the hub is among several standard digital centers being developed across Kisii County, with a center of excellence under construction in Ogembo town. Isaboke added that the initiative is part of the government's digital superhighway and creative economy agenda aimed at reducing youth unemployment and accelerating grassroots development through the Nyota project.
Projects that I've mentioned touching different facets of the better plan, be it, for example, the digital superhighway and creative economy, be it the infrastructure that we're dealing with the stadium or, in fact, the airport, be it the affordable housing, which, in fact, they said there will be 10,000 affordable housing units where the current prison, Kisi prison is, because that's going to be relocated. As he said, there's no reason why prisoners should be in the city center or town center and push the normal population out of town. Be it agricultural reform, be it MSME in the small and micro enterprise, which in fact is where this Nyota came from. Each one of them are transformative in their own sense, and especially transformative targeting the most vulnerable, the weakest part of our population.
Police in Madeira, Nyeri County have seized 50 kilograms of cannabis sativa valued at 165,000 shillings in a major drug crackdown. Caroline Mbuya, a middle-aged woman, was arrested after authorities acted upon a tip-off from the members of the public. The drugs were found hidden in water tanks during a multi-agency operation led by Madeira West Deputy County Commander and local security officers. Officials warned drug peddlers to stop illegal activities and urged residents to continue sharing information, saying community cooperation is key to keeping the sub-county safe for children and future generations. All right, and that's how we make it into the sporting arena, where matters take us to the western part of the country, where Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has announced that the long-awaited construction of the Kinundu Stadium in Vihiga County will begin in February, with the facility set to host this year's Madaraka Day celebrations. Speaking after meeting landowners in Mbale, Mudavadi said a breakthrough had been reached between the residents who have agreed to relinquish over 20 acres of land. He assured affected households of compensation through due process and said the 10,000-seater stadium will be built by the Kenya Defence Forces within 4 months. Leaders hailed the project as a major milestone for sports development and regional growth.
Thank you. Hapa kudhibitisha kabisa kwamba Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya William Samoei Ruto ni yule ambaye anazungumza na anataka kutenda ahadi yake. Na ahadi yake ilikuwa kwamba katika enzi yake ni jukumu tumalize hiyo Kinundu Stadium. Na mimi nina furaha kusimama hapa kwa niaba yake kusema kwamba Mheshimiwa Rais, najua utafuatilia haya maneno siku ya leo.
Kutoa shukurani kwa niaba ya watu wa Vihiga na serikali ya Vihiga County. Natoa shukurani kwa His Excellency the President Dr. William Samoei Ruto for kujitolea kwake kwamba Vihiga lazima iwe na stadium ya hali ya juu.
32 minutes past the top of the hour on this 31st day of the month of January 2026, and it's about that time to wrap it up for the weekend live. Much appreciated is your viewing and keeping it KUTV through the broadcast. From me, Emmanuel Kutosi, in the sign language interpretation, Naomi Mbuya, and the whole team involved in the production of tonight's broadcast. It's good night, happy new month. Let's enjoy February better that we have had in January. Good night.
In a world where uncertainty rules and opportunities are scarce, it's time to break from the barrier and unlock your full potential.
We must live within our means. We cannot spend money that we don't have.